Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 12th, and right now we are looking at the infrared/visible satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across the Pacific Ocean as we speak. You can see we've got some cloud cover here across western Oregon and Washington. Clearer skies as you go a bit east, and if you look at across the Gulf of Alaska, this is our next storm system coming. It's going to be rolling in here through this weekend. It's going to keep temperatures down. It's going to keep a thunderstorm potential around the Pacific Northwest, some precipitation, even some snow for the higher terrain here. So not a completely abnormal, chilly June low pressure trough system here for the Pacific Northwest here, but it is definitely going to keep things below normal. And if you're out across the backcountry here, watch out for those raw temperatures and even some snow for the very higher peaks here. We'll dive into some of those details as we go through the video here this morning. Taking a look here for Pendleton, Oregon. Look at this. This is Benton County Emergency Services building. This is for tomorrow, Thursday, June 13th, Skywarn Spotter training class. If you are so inclined here, you can look up more information online in the website here. Go ahead and pause that if you want more information on that. Taking a look at Seattle yesterday, 67 degrees here, pretty blustery. Look at this, 39 miles per hour at SeaTac Airport yesterday. That's the strongest wind gust of the month. I think I hit 34 here at my house. Definitely blustery conditions yesterday, but we did have some nice sunshine out there as well. Now, taking a look at the significant wildland fire potential outlook. This is for August. Check it out. Western Washington kind of highlighted there, as well as Southeast Oregon and some of Idaho. And this is for September as well. So hopefully we can kind of keep this in the back of our minds and all work together to kind of keep the fire danger, or at least the fire starts, to a minimum. Now, taking a look at what is coming, again, we saw this on the infrared satellite imagery. This is our next system. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon to the right. And if we put this into motion, you can see this system slowly churn and spin and ebb its way towards Pacific Northwest, really taking up a residence here as we go on in through the day Saturday. And this trough is going to hang on a bit here through this weekend coming up. But you can see it really parks itself right over the Pacific Northwest. So what does that mean? Let's take a look at what exactly is going on here. This is at 18,000 feet. This is temperature aloft. So we put this into motion, and you can see this cold air start to move in here as we go through the day Friday. And by the time we get towards Saturday morning, this cold air is parked right across Pacific Northwest. The colder the air, the stronger the updrafts here. The bigger difference between you have the surface versus the colder air aloft means you have more Cape convective available potential energy or instability in the atmosphere. And we are going to have a thunderstorm threat here as we go on in through the day Saturday. More on that here in a moment, but let's look at 10,000 feet as well. This is temperature here, 700 millibars. Put it into motion, and you can see that lobe of cold air move in as we go on in through Saturday, parked right over the Pacific Northwest there. So that cold air aloft is going to allow for that convection and some thunderstorm potential here as we go through, mainly on the day Saturday. So let's take a look at what the European says. Let's put this into motion. And this is for Friday afternoon. You notice not much coverage here across Pacific Northwest. But as you go on in through Friday, that was Thursday afternoon. Sorry, this is Friday afternoon. You'll see some of this start to pop up across some of British Columbia and Alberta. Now watch what happens as we go on into Saturday afternoon. It does include portions, mainly Portland north through western Washington, some of southwest BC, some of northeast Washington, and some of the Rocky Mountains there as well. Cannot rule out a thunderstorm across some of the higher terrain of the Cascades also. And so if you are from the backcountry here, watch out, because it's going to be pretty raw, chilly temperatures. We'll go over some of those in here in a minute as well, and even some snow for the higher terrain, as well as that thunderstorm threat. And if we're going in through Sunday, it doesn't show it yet here, but hour 90, we're probably going to still have some thunderstorm activity here across the Pacific Northwest, or at least the potential for it. If we look at the 6-hour precipitation, and if we put this into motion, you can see as we go through the day Friday, we start to bring some of this rainfall to western BC, perhaps western Washington, through Friday afternoon and evening there. And then you can see the trough really setting up shop here by the time we get to Saturday afternoon. And again, it can ruin some camping trips here this weekend, or at least make it much more challenging and cooler and wetter conditions, especially across the higher terrain. And as we go on through Sunday, you notice we still have that precipitation out and about here. So we're going to have that trough with us all the way through this weekend. And then as we go through Monday afternoon, some residual showers as that low moves across portions of Idaho and Montana as well, and then finally starts to kick out of the area after that. We look at total snow in inches on the national blend of models. I'm going to put this into motion, and you can see there is that threat for some higher elevation snowfall. And it's not like you're going to get snowed in across some of these areas, but it can create some of these very raw, chilly conditions. You know, you could get some hypothermia out there if you are not prepared. So heads up for that. Maybe even a little bit of snowfall there for the Olympic Mountains and some of the Cascades of Oregon. Now, this is daily 2-meter minimum temperature here. So this is the minimum temperature for Friday. 14th of June, and we go through Saturday coming up here. Look at some of these temperatures. It is going to be raw. So again, just kind of helping out people across the backcountry. It is going to be chilly out there in these overnight and early morning lows for sure. And on Saturday, we're not going to warm up too much. You can see Sunday right there. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then finally things start to get towards more normal temperatures across the higher terrain here. But yeah, have that heads up here as I scroll back towards Saturday and Sunday for these chilly temperatures that are going to be apparent across the higher terrain. Now here we're looking at the high temperatures. This is daily 2-meter maximum temperature. And if we scroll through this, this is for today. There's Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. You can see how the temperatures are suppressed across the area as that trough will be moving through. Then we'll perhaps bounce back a little bit as we go through next week, but we'll worry about that as we get closer to it. Now, taking a look at what's going on here on the European model, we're going to look way off into the extended forecast, probably 2 weeks out or so. But you can see, again, that low pressure center moving over the Pacific Northwest. It's going to be hanging out here with us as we go through the weekend and on and through Monday for portions of the Pacific Northwest, and kind of that troughing hanging on a bit here as we go through next week. Maybe a tiny bit of a transient ridge moving through here, but then the models continue to show some active weather as we go on into the later portions of June as well. You know, sometimes the old saying goes, the summer doesn't start until the 4th of July or until the week after the 4th of July here across the Pacific Northwest, and maybe this year kind of wants to follow the same script. Taking a look at the GFS, let's just see if it agrees with the European model that we've been looking at extensively here. And you can see pretty good model agreement here as we roll in through the day Saturday with that cold air aloft parking right over the Pacific Northwest. Trough kind of hanging out here as we go through the weekend, and then taking its sweet time to get out of here. And then the GFS wants to keep troughing going on in through next week a bit here also. And then it starts to build a ridge a bit here as we go through June 22nd, 23rd, and then it wants to swing another trough through here as we go towards the end of the month. So lots to watch here over the next couple of weeks. As we're looking at the European, check out Seattle. You can see the temperature suppressed as we go through the early portion of next week, and then perhaps bouncing back. Again, we'll see how that goes. Model discrepancy as you look that far out. And here we go through this weekend here. You can see kind of the, what is it? We're talking about, well, you know, maybe 1/4 of an inch for Seattle, but of course this is going to equal some higher amounts depending on just where these showers set up, and across some of the higher terrain, probably looking at a little bit more precipitation. But the mean and the ensemble, the mean of the ensemble and the control run are in pretty good agreement for somewhere around 2 to 3/10 of an inch of precipitation. And here we go through the 21st, kind of that below average signal, above average precipitation signal for June 17th through 21st as well. And there is some fire danger out there. You can see we are at moderate risk here for some of NW4. You can see NW5, NW8, and then you can see NW10 Friday and Saturday with some gusty winds going to be rolling through here as well for some elevated fire risk here. So we'll be watching this as we go through the upcoming fire season also. But yeah, anyway, there it is. Heads up, people in the backcountry, watch out. You know, be prepared. Bring that extra set of clothes. You know, make your stuff waterproof. You know, you guys know the drill. Off and across the backcountry, and watch, you know, the weather here on Saturday and Sundays. We may get some thunderstorm activity across some of the Pacific Northwest, and we'll dive into that a bit more detail as we go through tomorrow. We're going to start getting some of the high resolution models in range, and we'll start to check out just what kind of chances we do have for some of that thunderstorm activity here across the area. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, lots of stuff to look forward to over the next few days, and be sure to check back tomorrow for the latest. And again, I will talk to you guys then. We'll break it all down again then.